Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Wildcat Insider. As today, we're taking a deep look at the Villanova women's rowing team, and Carissa Adams, our head coach, joining us today. I'm Nick Montagna. Hi, Coach. How are you today?
Great. How are you, Nick?
Great. Thanks for joining us. I've been curious as we've been talking with lots of our staff at Villanova. How are you personally handling this whole Corona COVID-19 situation, and what's it been like for you and your family?
I think everyone's been handling it in their own way. I would say it's been a little difficult, but we're getting through. Uh, I would say I like to describe it as I've moved through three phases where I went from reeling to feeling and then dealing. The reeling was as soon as we found out and about the situation, then it was just planning and trying to figure out what are we going to do, what does it mean, how are we going to support our student athletes, to then the feeling stage after the shelter in place was put in place, then just dealing with the sense of loss, but most importantly for the student athletes and their loss of season.
Yeah.
And finally dealing just in the sense of, how do we deal with this? And I remember one of the first things that I said to the student athletes in our last meeting was that we have to come out stronger at the end of this, and that we need to look at it as an opportunity and find a way to really turn it into just that, an opportunity that we can get better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I often tell myself the message that we have the great opportunity to be working in college athletics, and it's a great honor to be a part of this. Sometimes it's not work. I have so much fun broadcasting, and I know coaches and student athletes love it. So it's great to have that message. I agree with you. Carissa, can you tell us about why you wanted to get into coaching, what motivates you, and the first time that you said to yourself, hey, I'd love to be a crew coach someday?
Yeah, I would say that coaching it found me. I never set out to be a coach. I coached out of convenience and as a hobby, as when I was an assistant coach way back in the 90s, as I was earning my graduate degree.
Mm-hmm.
I also was coaching, and I can actually remember my grad school mentor pulling me aside and asking me, hey, it seems like you really enjoy coaching. Why don't you go into coaching? And I laughed at her and told her, there are no full-time rowing coach positions out there. And I wasn't about to be the first. And then, here we are. I turned it into a profession, but yeah, I earned my PhD, and then I moved across country I'm from Oregon, and I moved to Oregon, and I was coaching and working at an environmental consulting firm, and also teaching a genetics class at a local community college. And then and I received a phone call from UC Davis, and from the head coach there, and she asked if I wanted to apply. And so I applied to that position. And I took it. I didn't think I would take it. Being from Oregon, I didn't think that going down to California is what I wanted to do. But I decided, why not go down for the interview? And I went down and found out that I'd get paid more or the same amount for doing one job than doing three different jobs. And I really enjoyed coaching as well. So I was there then for 14 years, and then the Villanova position came open in 2015. And again, I never thought I was going to move back to the East Coast, but here I am, and it's been a good move. So like I said, I really enjoy working with the student athletes, but every position that has meant something to me, I feel has just kind of fallen in my lap, so to speak.
Yeah, Oregon's a great place from what I hear. I have a friend that retired and moved out there to be a bike rider full time and go around the whole state. So she really likes it. So that's really neat to hear. Carissa, how would you describe Villanova to incoming recruits, to general fans, to anybody, frankly, because it's as good a mix of academics and athletics to me as anywhere you'll find in the country. Some schools are known for sports and some it's more of an academic focus. At Villanova, it's really the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a great place to be. Um, as I mentioned, I moved from the West Coast over
Mhm.
here, and I I remember being very hesitant to do that, and I remember in my interview actually asking about why Villanova, and everybody said it was the community. It was all about the community, and I at that time I thought that was pretty cheesy, and I was like, oh, the community, whatever. Are you kidding me? And then I got on campus, and it's true. It's totally true, and the community it's amazing. Everybody has so much pride for the excellence that Villanova is, both academic and athletic. And I think that starts from Father Peter, and it continues all the way through to the students, the student athletes, the staff, the professors, and all the way to our alumni. And so it's a great place. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the leadership coming from Father Peter. And I guess that quality of community gives you a sense of security. And I just feel like it's an easy place to recruit to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. So, Carissa, let's talk about your team from this past season. Which individuals stood out for you? Who had the impact season as individuals? And what did you think of this entire season?
Yeah. Um, I always think that's a really difficult question when it
Mhm.
comes to rowing, because rowing's an ultimate team sport.
Sure.
When it comes to conference or looking at the NCAA championship, we go as a team, and you take two eights and a four in order to compete there. So, that's a lot of individuals. So and we didn't have a spring season, and that's our main season. So I wouldn't say that there was a standout, but the people who I guess stand out in my head would be our seniors, and just how those seniors, this is my fifth year. Those seniors have been with me for 4 years, and they've stood by my side, and they've believed in my vision of where I want to take the program. And it hasn't always been easy, and they've been able to weather the bumps and the defeats,
Mhm.
and still believe in the plan. And so they were really coming together this year, and I really felt like they were I guess really seeing what they could become. And I was really looking forward to this spring season, because I thought all their hard work was finally going to pay off, and that they were going to realize some success. So I would, again, not there isn't one individual,
Yeah.
but those seniors are, they have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, well said. The seniors always deserve a lot of attention because they put in so much hard work through the years. Absolutely. Coach, what are your players doing to stay in shape? I've asked a lot of our head coaches about this over the past few weeks. Are they working out on their own, I'm guessing, in their own houses, whether it be in their basement if they have an elliptical setup or a trainer machine, or are they running outside? Or how does one keep up with rowing specific types of workouts during this trying time?
Yeah, I think they're all doing different things. I'm not gonna lie that has not been our focus, our priority right now. I really am prioritizing, and what I want them to prioritize is their academics first, and then
Mhm.
most importantly, their mental health through this.
Sure.
um, and just trying to stay healthy. Our strength and conditioning coaches have put out a lot of good body weight circuits.
Yeah.
When you're talking about rowing, half of our kids have rowing machines at home, if that. And we just talked about ways that they can stay connected as a community. And I feel like the training, it was good. It's a good time for recovery, and we can really focus on the training as soon as finals are done.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, I don't want them just sitting around, because we all know that exercise is really important for mental health as well. But it has not, I haven't put out anything specific that I think they have to be following. I really want this to be a time for them to regroup and reset and use it as a time to recover.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned recovery. I went for a run yesterday, and the thing I tell everybody, make sure you stretch afterwards. It's so vital to making sure you feel limber the next day. The head of the Schuylkill race is something we were able to talk about just a few days ago. And back in the fall, everybody's told me it's very meaningful to you guys. And can you describe what it was like to have the boat naming ceremony after Coach St. Clair and how that all went about?
Yeah, I think, the head of the Schuylkill, we've really developed it over the last 3 to 4 years. We started having a mast down along the river. So I've been very blessed to be able to do that with our community. We've really tried to change the regatta into more of a social gathering for all of our fans, for our parents, for our alumni. It's just a great place to come together and watch some rowing, but also gather as a community. And with a community that has shared values. And so being able to dedicate the boats was really important and something I've been waiting for. I walked into our boathouse when I started in 2015, and we had a lot of boats, but none of the boats were named, and they all look alike. And so it was very difficult every day telling the boat, okay, go get hands on that boat that has the red tape around the bow, right? And things like that. So being able to name the boats has been awesome. And then obviously even more awesome is the fact that we were able to name them after such significant individuals. We named an 8 after Jack St. Clair, who had spent 27 years building the program and really developed it into what it is today. And then another 8 that we named was after Ellen Minsner, who was a former rower at Villanova, and she actually went on and won a couple world championships in rowing, and then finally and we named it after 4 after Chris St. Clair. Yeah. And Chris was Jack's wife, or is Jack's wife, and she is just an amazing woman and was so supportive, and really, Jack could not have done what he did with the program without her support. So we feel like she was just integral to this program as well.
You mentioned what your players are doing. I've seen a lot of the videos pop up on my feed, and seeing the one I like, the sustainability video with all the tips to help out the environment. And I really liked what Fiona Finnessy did with their storybook. So it looks like the kids are having some fun during their spare time, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We decided to we put together some committees, and one of them was our community service committee. We wanted to be able to stay true to that piece of our team. And so, the athletes have done a great job trying to connect in any way that they can with the community and help out. Because, we felt like there's a lot of parents, myself included, who all of a sudden are teachers and have to take care of their children all day long and be able to entertain them and teach them things. And so being able to offer, a storybook reading or things like that, it would be valuable, as well as, they've been doing a workout challenge and things like that. So yeah, it's been fun.
My little nephew got his first phone for his birthday last week, so he's been texting me when he's had breaks from his schoolwork. So yeah, a little bit different for all of us, certainly. Yes. Carissa, glad to see that you're enjoying your time off, and best wishes to you and all of your student athletes. And thanks so much for joining us today. Really fun chatting with you.
Great. Thank you so much, Nick. Have a good day.
And once again, that's Carissa Adams, our head coach of the Villanova rowing team, joining us. I'm Nick Montagna for the Wildcat Insider. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.